Hey, this is Paul Cardullo, and I'm here with our very own Doc Rotten, and he's recently watched the film Ruin Me, which shown at Screamfest. So, Doc, tell us about the film.
Ruin Me. All right. This is there's an element of this that will appeal to a lot of horror fans listening to this here podcast. What this is about is a group of contestants, if you will, that are tagging along for a thing called a Slasher Sleepout. Now, this is an extreme event where they have to sign the waivers and everything, and they get the black sacks over the heads, and they sign away that they can get touched, but they can't touch back and stuff like that, and all kinds of weird things. But they're out to get scared and survive. It's a part camping trip, part haunting house, part escape room, and a big mystery. What is going on as things start to turn south? Because this is a horror film. So, unexpected things are going to happen. And so that means, yes, twists and turns.
What do you think about it?
Well, I was really into this. There is a lot to like about this film. The cast is terrific. The direction is pretty strong too. It's written and directed by Prestin DeFrancis, along with Trysta Bissett, and it has an interesting group of characters that are, while somewhat stereotypical, they play with all these stereotypes. So every one of them has a slight little twist, a little turn, especially the lead. That really makes it more interesting than some of the tropes it could have fallen into. The lead is Marcienne Dwyer, who plays Alex, and she is basically been invited to this as a replacement for somebody else that dropped out as a friend of a friend, right? So, but although she is the girlfriend of the one that invited her, so she's the non-horror fan that's stuck in this horror trip. It leads to a lot of fun and interesting dialogue stuff, and she also, slight spoiler, but enough to get you intrigued, is a recovering addict. And so some of the things that she thinks she's seeing, it comes under question whether or not she is.
That definitely does sound interesting. Since they play with the tropes, since you said the characters themselves are fans of horror, is it self-aware, say, like as a Scream, or is it more just the filmmakers are just kind of playing with the tropes, or do the characters themselves call them out?
It's a little bit of both, but mostly the characters. So, like the final girl has this the addict thing, and then her boyfriend, something's a little up, and then some of the other characters kind of play around with what they're. I don't want to give too much away.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, don't.
But what's great about it is it does get gory. It doesn't get crazy gory, but it does get gory, and it does have some interesting startles and scares in it. It has some interesting puzzles you have to solve, or that you have to watch them solve. So it's fun to watch that. Yeah. So what really won me over is pretty much the acting, and especially Marcienne Dwyer.
Oh, very cool. I mean, it sounds like a neat concept. I like the kind of sounds like a riff on those extreme haunted houses. Is that part of the where the people
very much kind of. Very much, very much. It is very much extreme haunted house, except for this, they're camping out for a weekend. And of course they're not told what the story is, and they find a piece of paper in one of their knapsacks that they get, because they can't bring their own stuff, and then they find bags that are theirs because they're assigned a number. And one of them has a paper that says that a lunatic has escaped. So Ooh. That, throws in this whole, what's happening is the lunatic one of us? Is it this crazy old man that's running around? Who's part of the game? Who's not?
It sounds intriguing. So, you've definitely piqued my interest. So can you guys give us your final thoughts, your favorite scene, and your score?
My final thoughts are this was a delight to discover, and I think a lot of people would enjoy this. It's I would give it a probably a 3.75. And it's not entirely perfect. It does have, some scratches on the edges, but at the same time, it when it gets things right, it really gets things right. And again, the acting is what does it. My favorite scene, I alluded to this earlier. There's one particular trap that kind of feels like, the one, segment in Creep Show where they're kind of buried up to their neck, except they're not. They're tied to a chain instead, but they are, it involves water and how to get a key and other people involved. And what they end up doing, there's so much going on during this scene, because, the one character's motivations are coming under question. Their sanities are coming under question. Their true alliances are coming under question by the decisions that they have to make to solve this puzzle, which was really creative way of kind of exposing the underbelly of the story. I was really impressed.
Very cool. Well, sounds like one to check out. Want to say goodnight, Doc?
I do. Good night.
Be sure to visit GruesomeMagazine.com to listen to the other gruesome podcasts, Hard News Radio, and Decades of Horror. Also check out the Gruesome Magazine Quarterly, available in digital and print-on-demand format. Gruesome Magazine.